Hey guys and gals, welcome to my trade review on NURO. I took this trade on Friday, August 27, 2021. I'm going to walk you through my trade, why I decided to take this trade, the psychology behind it, how I established my profit target areas and my stop loss, and hopefully you'll find some of this information informative. Just before I get started, I want to make a quick shout out to my current trading group that I've been with for just over a year, who I wouldn't understand any of this without. So a lot of love out to True Trading Group. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. True education, guys. They really offer it all, and it's really improved my trading tremendously. So just wanted to throw that out there before I got started. So what I'm going to talk about here is a couple of things. If you're new to trading, right now we're looking at the one-day chart. So each one of these candles represents a single day of price action. So that just contains a day's data worth of information here. If you'll notice that back in mid-July, this stock ran just over 300% a day, I think it was. That was a 300, yeah, roughly about, 210% gain in the day. Massive short squeeze on that one. That was a lot of fun to be a part of back then. I did trade that for about a 25-30% gain, similar to what I traded in terms of profit takes today, on Friday. I'm recording this on the weekend. Notice that this thing had a massive gap up the following day after its move, but it was a total exhaustion gap. We did get a lot of shorts stuck in this, and then we did get a crazy gap up the following day, and then, of course, as you can tell by this old information here, that this thing just got slammed back down. The shorts really stopped this from going any further, so I think it hit about 40 bucks before we got rejected. So a couple of things to take a look at here on my daily chart. Just talk about some indicators really quick. If we're looking at this kind of purple-pink line here, this is my 50-day moving average. Drop below here, this dark blue line is my 100-day moving average, and this teal line down here is my 200-day moving average. This blue line represents my 8-day exponential moving average. So this is an EMA, and these three are SMAs. The reason I use SMAs on my daily chart is obviously this lagging indicator gives me a good sense of particular price action and where we're flowing to, and if we're kind of above this 50-day average, we're looking quite bullish. If we're below it, we are looking on the bear side of things. I only use these indicators on my SMA indicators on my daily charts only. I do not use these on my intraday charts. If price action intraday does happen to line up with these moving averages, it's simply coincidence. I don't use that to determine whether or not I'm going to enter or exit a trade. I have other indicators that I do use on my intraday charts, which I'll walk you through in a second. So the first thing I did when I saw this thing gapping up in the morning was start to get a plan together. This stock has a float of 5.5 million shares, which is quite a low float. So this thing can move quite violently, maybe moving dollars in seconds. So you got to have a plan together when it comes to stops like this. If you don't have a plan, you're kind of asking for trouble, in my opinion. Good luck trying to trade it without. Matter of fact, good luck trying to trade any trade without a plan. You really got to figure out what you want to do, and you have to understand where your profit targets are going to be, and that's based on key resistance levels. So what I did first thing when I saw that pre-market action, that gap up in the morning, is I started to plot out my support resistance levels. And a couple of levels jumped out to me. First level that jumped out was this $13.20 area, which you can see back in early August was an area of support where we bounced multiple times off this price area until it was eventually breached in mid-August down to the 11.97 area. If you want to be kind of round about $12, we held that $12 area for a couple of days and then continued to fade below it. It's pushing the stock eventually down into this 50-day moving average, which happens to line up around that kind of $10 price point. So to see this thing gap up, where we were gapped up in the morning was around that 13.20, 13.30. It was kind of bouncing around in that area, and I really wanted to see it hold up above that $13.20 off the bell. Above that, my next profit target area was going to be around 15.19, 15.20. Above that, around 16, and then 17 was going to be my ultimate final take profit. We did eventually get up to this 19.75 $20 area. I didn't really expect it to happen, although we did get this massive move. I like to play it safe, take my profits, and walk away from the trade in a good headspace. And so that's what I did. The trade I did on this netted me about just over 25% gain on this trade. So taking a look at this daily chart, there's my levels mapped out. There's my indicators kind of showing me that this isn't still a bullish position on the daily chart. So then I switch over to my intraday charts. And let's just take a look at this pre-market action here so we can get a idea as what we were looking at in the morning session. So if we just take a look here, on Thursday after hours, we got that gap up. I don't believe there's any news attached to this gap up. And then in the pre-market session on Friday, we did eventually crack through this $13.20 resistance. We did hold above it. We did bounce back down below it and hit back off that $12 area, but it did hold. We did come down. We did hold. Pre-market volume, not bad, but I do not make any real determinations on what I think the move of the day is going to be based on what I see here. It's just light volume, so really not enough to make a really key decision. As you can see, I did map off some volumes analysis, which we'll talk about as I walk you through this trade. So that's what I saw in the pre-market, and as we got closer to the bell, really ultimately what I was looking for was that $12 area to hold as support, and potentially looking at an entry above 13.20 or in and around that area. So I'm going to now remove my pre-market data. The reason I do that is because I do not want any of this pre-market data to affect the aggregation period of my intraday indicators. First indicator I use on the intraday is the VWAP. Lots of traders use VWAP. And the second key indicator that I use, or technical indicator I should say, is the EMA 8, the exponential 8-day moving average. Those are the two that I use. I use one more, which I'll walk you through in a sec, but the beauty of these technical indicators is they do become, in a sense, a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. There are a lot of traders who trade around VWAP. There are a lot of traders who use the exponential 8-day moving average, or the 9-day moving average, or the 10-day moving average. So because everybody is using these technical indicators, we got a lot of people looking at the charts the same, and then they're going to be starting to use these indicators as profit target or entries. And so that's the beauty of them. They do eventually become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So right off the bell, what I noticed was we did breach through this 13.20 area, but we were rejected off that area. But we did get that bounce with this hammer off that $12 area. Could you take an entry down here? A bit risky. Your stop loss would have to be below this $12 area. What I did notice is if we take a look at this volume profile, it wasn't a lot of heavy selling. It wasn't 1 million share candle of selling pressure during this little consolidation period down here below VWAP. It was, I think, probably people taking profits off the morning move from the gap up. Maybe some people taking an entry down here, getting ready to take some profit in front of the VWAP. I didn't take an entry here. I never chase the first 15 to 20 minutes of price action. To me, that is purely a momentum trader move, and that's not my style. I'm a very conservative trader. I like to trade by taking entries into support rather than taking entries as we break through resistance, which would be a slightly more aggressive style. So what I was really hoping to see was that we got one of my favorite setups, which is the VWAP trade line cross, where the trade line crosses up and over the VWAP with a nice kind of 45-degree angle. I don't want to see it kind of come up and curl back down as we get to it. I really want to see this thing break through it. And then when we do get a breakthrough, this VWAP, I want to see volume increase and I want to see share price increase, which we did get on this very next candle. Matter of fact, we got halted on this candle at $14.20. What is very important to realize with halts is halts now become a key level that traders will look at for support or resistance. And so what I did at this point, the beauty of the halt is that it really gives you a few minutes to get a plan together. Not that I didn't have one already, but now that we've had this major move to the upside, okay, what am I looking for here? What am I going to do? If this thing moves higher, am I going to chase it? No, I'm not. Ideally, I'm looking for a pullback into support, which would be either this halt price or this initial morning high. So what I did is I marked off that halt price, so that 14.20 area there, and I waited to see what happened as we came off the halt. The second thing I do is I pull out my Fibonacci retracements. I draw those from the previous day's close up to the current high of the day, which is 14.20, right there. And a couple of things jumped out to me right off the get-go. The first thing I noticed, I'm going to make this chart a little bit bigger so we can have a good look at it. This 23.6 Fibonacci level lined up with a couple of key areas here. It lined up with the $13.20 resistance, which was, we can call this the kind of initial morning high. This is opening high area. And also, as we move up, we're going to start to see the 38.2 Fibonacci come into play as well, which lined up with VWAP and the trade line right here. So my ideal entry would be in front of this 13.20 area. We did get, for confirmation, this massive 1.3 million share candle of volume to come in. So that really gave me the confidence and the confirmation that this was definitely going to go upside and hopefully see some follow through. So let's take a look at the next few candles. We see on my charting software, I'm able to actually see this little dash as that halt. So keep that in mind. Boom. Next candle we get was in a little bit of a extension follow through to me. Again, not getting long here. The stock did make that move up, and I was a little concerned that it was potentially going to miss an opportunity if we just got that continual run up. But if it went without me, so be it. That's the name of the game. We did get rejected at that 15-20 area, and we started to pull back into the VWAP and the trade line. So what do? I got to move my Fibonacci's up, so I move that up to that new high. Get this back up to my 14.20, right about there. Next few candles, I did wait for about two to three candles to make my entry, and that's exactly what I did. Was this candle here where I took my entry, got in at $13.83, right above VWAP, right above trade line, 38.2 trade line, VWAP all lining up. Again, just talking about those different types of traders out there. We've got those VWAP traders, we've got those EMA traders, we've got the Fibonacci traders. So to see a convergence of multiple technical indicators aligning on a single area, or an area of price which makes logical sense to take an entry, should give you the confidence to take that trade. And in my case, it did give me that confidence. So took an entry. Stop was below VWAP, kind of below this 13.20 area. Could have let it go down to this 11.97. Maybe would have gotten a bounce off that. But I was not position sized correctly to allow myself to get down to that area. So a little tighter stop. I don't think that's a bad thing with a stock that can move $1 or $2 in a flash of a pan here. So I thought it was a good strategy to go by, and that did work out for me. As the next candle developed, we started to get this big follow through momentum. These candles, just over 3 million shares here, just about 3 million here, and 3 million here, were again was a great confirmation to see things kind of pan out that way. So what do? Well, I take my first piece of profit off right in front of this resistance level. Lucky I just kind of put an order out for $15.25, and I took off half of my position size. By doing that, in these market conditions, in a low float stock like this, I really just wanted to maximize the first take profit on this one. Usually I like to take off 3 pieces. In this case, sometimes what I'll do is a 25% profit take on my first one, which is a risk reduction strategy in case the trade does not work out. I decided to go 50 on this one just to lock in more gains right off the get-go. As we got follow through extension on the next few candles coming up, I took some more profit off on this candle at $16.25. Again, breaching through resistance areas, why not take some profit off? So now that was another 25% off here. So I'm left with 25% of my size, which makes it easy to hold through pullbacks when I see, red candles kind of start to form on the chart, which we did get. We did get a few of these rejection candles. And then we did get this bounce off, again, this EMA 8, which actually happens to line up again with my 23.6 Fibonacci level. and there was a little bit more extension, but more rejection as we approached this $17 area. Again, that's why I had marked it. I knew that this area was going to form a bit of resistance, so why not play it safe? And that's what kind of happened as we started to roll through the lunch period. So what I want to point out, is kind of touching back on the initial halt price, which acts again as an initial morning high. A lot of traders are going to look at this level. So what I planned out was to take my profit, my last piece of profit off. If we can get back to the 1740 area, and my stop loss I had moved up a little bit from initially from that $13.20 area to below the initial haul price here at $14.20. And I really did that. I just didn't want to let this thing roll back down to my entry level. Why take the risk of potentially losing a little bit more profit to lock in a little bit more at 1420 is still makes me green on the trade, and it really kind of puts a little bit of icing on the cake. But again, looking for that follow through on that $17.50 area, $17.50 area. So as we came through lunch, a couple of things happened here. We did get a test of this area. The low of that candle was $14.27, so we got really close to my stop. From a psychological perspective, it really helps to be down to a small percentage of your size, because if I did not take any profit on the way up on this move, I would be really sweating it on this pullback, and this trade really could have gone from a nice green trade to a red trade. Or even a break-even trade, and that's not how I like to play it. I want to play it safe. I want to take my profits off the table when I can. It only makes sense to do so. So if you're a trader that just sells bulk of position on big moves, that's a good way to do it if you want to capitalize on that move. But if you do get greedy, you are going to miss some opportunity. I've done that enough in my life to know that I do not want to trade like that anymore. So I'm a safe trader, and I'm going to make sure that I take my profits when I can. So the second thing that started to occur during the lunchtime session was just this consolidation. We started to essentially stair step up from that $14.20 halt price up through the lunchtime session, slowly working our way up across VWAP, up over VWAP, holding it, and eventually bouncing off of it. And if we actually mark out this upper level here, we actually got a nice bull flag formation that started to form during the lunch period. So a lot of traders in our group were starting to actually get long on this stock in this $15 area. Again, probably looking for some upside here to 1741. That's always a good sign to see an upward trending trend line here, stair stepping itself up, not breaking down, not retesting, not sitting on support levels and just kind of hanging out there. You do want to see, upward movement. If you don't, it's usually not a great sign that things are going to continue upwards. Now, something else to point out is when a stock is strong in the morning and we do make that big move up, it consolidates through lunch, or we did get a continuation during that lunchtime session, it's very hard for a stock to continue that momentum during the afternoon or power hour session. And when I see a stock get back up to a resistance level that's up where our profit target area is going to be, I'm probably going to go ahead and take profit there. Again, not risking it. Seeing strength in the afternoon is always during the lunchtime session is especially on lower volume. If we kind of look down at this volume profile, look at the volume difference between this afternoon trading session and the morning session. A lot lower volume. So as we start to approach through this resistance level here, I was hoping to see big candle come through like this, big breakout candle like this. We never really got it. This thing broke through that level, so I decided to take my final piece of profit off as we came out of lunch at $17.25. And we did continue to actually get that move up to 1974, that $20 resistance level. Was I upset to see it go up that high? Not at all. I didn't anticipate it. Nice to see that it did. Nice to see some traders were able to, get up and take some profit in this area. But that's the name of the game. We're not looking to make money on the whole move. We're looking to make money on the meat of the move here, and to take profits along the way. Take profits in momentum moves. If you decide to hang in there and this thing's going over 20, we're going to 30 maybe, you're gonna lose out. And why risk it? So, Coincidentally, this thing did bounce off of the 50-day moving average again. Just don't pay attention to these lines on my intraday chart because it's purely coincidental that it did. And then eventually we did start to get that nasty pullback, red trading action, and we did get those nasty drops here towards the end of the session. Nice. The key thing to notice here, something important to take note of, is what did we drop right into? Is $14.20 area again, which was that halt price, which was that support level. So we got 3 bounces off that. Pretty strong bounce off that too. Not really a hammer candle, but we did get some buyers step up, and we did get some upward movement towards the end of the session, towards the end of the day. So it was really interesting to see that play out. Again, to see it go up to that price level was nice to see. Glad some people were able to take some profits off up here. Not my style, but congrats to all those who traded it and made money on it. Into the after hours session, however, we did get some follow through, which was interesting. We did get that push back up to 20 bucks. We did get rejected. We did come back down to that $16 resistance level, bounced off it. And so, I'm probably going to keep this thing on watch for Monday, August 30th, I believe it would be. And we'll see what happens. Maybe this thing holds up over 1740 and we do get that retest of 1920. If you do trade this thing on Monday and it does get up to this 1975 area, make sure you do take some profits off. Ideally, maybe we get a pull back down to this $16 level. I really don't want to see it drop into the 14s. That's a pretty massive pullback, and it probably wouldn't interest me too much to trade it at that point moving forward. But hey, you never know what'll happen. 16 is probably what I'm looking for on Monday. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this plays out. I hope you guys really took some lessons away from this review, and stick around. So I'll have some more coming up for you next week. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.